The Los Angeles Lakers are the biggest failures in the history of the NBA. Now, I might just be a salty Celtics fan, but I have to tell you, if you go by the metric of most finals series lost, it's the Lakers, and it's not even close. That is to say, the team that got the closest to victory while still losing, the Lakers have lost 15 finals. The closest to them is the New York Knicks, with only 6. So in sort of a Buffalo Billsian way, they're kind of heroic in how often they have managed to not win at all. And this is interesting, okay? Because one of the times that they did this was fairly unique. This was 1969. Well, it wasn't unique that the Celtics beat them, because the Celtics beat them the year before and a couple times before that. But it was the fact that this was a year where the Lakers lost. But something happened that had never happened before or since. A player on the losing team won MVP of the series. Jerry West, the logo, West Virginia's finest. He won Finals MVP despite the fact that the Lakers lost in 7. In case it isn't clear where I'm going, I am going to be talking about Joey Badass versus the West and Joey versus Vaughn and all of that. And if it's not clear to you, in this analogy, Joey Badass is Jerry West. He is the MVP on a losing team. And what's that losing team? New York City. So enjoy this analysis as I break down how could this possibly be. Okay, how could it possibly be that New York is losing so bad while the best player on the court is from Brooklyn? Now, I could go on and on about how this is hip-hop as a competitive art and how much this is in that spirit and how wonderful this all is, but I've done that this is what, my 7th video on the beef, on the friendly fade of 25, so I've said that enough. Feel free to watch my old videos. But what I want to do is just tackle this round. So I guess I'll call this, I don't know, round 3. Basically everything that happened on May 19th and 20th, just so much happening, and I'm not going to cover everything. If I have one complaint about this friendly fade, there's a little too much. Everyone needs to just tone it down a bit. If for no other reason, then just let it marinate. Let us enjoy the tastes a little bit before going from one thing to another. So I'm not going to be covering AZ Chike or Reason from the West Coast. I'm not going to be talking about CJ Fly. I have to say, I was pretty surprised by how good he was, but he dissed Curtis King. And I'm not East Coast or West Coast. I'm Culture United Coast. So Cookie Monster can get all the way bumped, okay? Oh, num num. CJ Fly. All right? Not cool. All right? So I'm not going to talk about Kai Cash and probably the person you'd expect me to talk about. And maybe you want me to talk about because I'm, Mr. Smarty Pants, always positive new music review show hosted by an actual French professor with his doctoral robes in the back. You'd think I'd be talking about Daylight. Because, he's released, 4 songs? I don't even know how many. I lost count. I've lost count of how many songs he's released, how quickly he's released them. I'm going to tell you why I'm not going to be talking about these songs. One reason, this was pointed out by Screwface John, in his reaction, and he's a great reactor. He was discussing the way that battle rap works. I need to say up front, I'm not an expert on battle rap. I know very little about battle rap. That is a huge hole in my hip-hop knowledge. I look to learn more as time goes on. But the way that John describes it is that there's 2 kinds of victory. There's winning in the room, and there's winning on tape. If you win on tape, it means people go back and they break down your bars and they hear what you're rapping about and they say, oh man, that was so deep. People just didn't get it. And then there's winning in the room, where the people in the room were influenced, were moved, and you killed it where it mattered most. As John points out, Daylight is killing it in video, but not in the room. I think that's part of what makes this interesting, is this is not actually battle rap. It's a battle, but it's not battle rap. And those things are different. It's a fine line to walk. And it might seem weird coming from me, because I'm often preaching to go as deep as possible and go to as many entendres as you can possibly have. But at the same time, I'm trying to respect that this is supposed to get the people going. That's what this is supposed to do. It's not supposed to make you say, "Oh, one second. I'm sure this is deep. I need to do some more research." At a certain point, if you do that too much, it loses effectiveness. Also, he's been kind of, mean-spirited. you know, the Xing yourself lines, or, you know, just, it doesn't matter who they're about. I don't really like them. Just the whole goofy thing, like, I'm going to kill your wife and your kids, and the blood's going to be, blah, there's going to be baby guts. I'm going to be like, blah, 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 blah. Baby's going to be like, wah, wah, wah. It's just, no, you're not. Just, I understand. That's part of battle rap. That's what Eminem does. But frankly, you can just keep it because it's just too goofy. I think what he makes me think of is that he's using this rap beef as a tech demo for the rest of the world. I bought that game 1-2 Switch on the Nintendo Switch. My friend Stella, she made fun of me. She was like, why did you buy a tech demo? It was cool, you know, not bad, but there's room for improvement. If you know, you know. But basically, he's using this battle as a tech demo, where it's like, these are the things I can do, this is how I can produce, this is, like that song Ayo is insane, he's got like 10 different flows and 10 different bars and 10 different sections and then modular this and all that, but it's cool, but also, to use some hip-hop parlance, chill, you know? He's just doing too much. That song with the Careless Whisper sample, that's great. I mean, it's great to use a careless sample whisper that works and mixing it together with Kool and the Gang, Summertime Matt, like that's just incredible. That's awesome. But in the end, it leaves me a little bit cold. I really see this as being the Ray versus, I think when this is all written, this is going to be seen as two things. Joey versus the West and Joey versus Ray. That's how I think this is going to be seen. But I'm not even going to be talking about My Town by Joey Badass. Listen, you come to me, hopefully, for my cold takes, okay? For cold takes and being a bitter-ass Boston fan. I gave a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar autograph to my friend Steve, because he's a Lakers fan, when the Lakers won in 2010, okay? So I respect to all Lakers fans. The greatest basketball team ever from Minnesota. But, like, I'm not even going to be talking about that song. Because, like, I see it as being a little bit outside. I feel like I'll describe it. I'll describe the importance of My Town without actually describing the song itself. I don't think it's particularly memorable. It's maybe my main problem with this beef. There's so many songs, everything kind of blurs together. It's hard for things to stand out. It's cool, you know, the Kamakan Ramadan, that's great. He completely dismissed AZ Chike by calling him ass cheek. That was beautiful. But what he really did was he included Lux. Okay. By the way, if you haven't seen Eric the Young God's coverage of this beef, you have to. He is just pissing on everyone's parade, saying everyone's mid, none of this matters. The only thing that's good is Lux, Loaded Lux. Everything else is just trash and garbage. I'll include a link in the description. You have to watch it. He's hilarious. Hilarious, and I see his point, even if I don't agree. But by putting in Lux, who's one thing he said too, he said, or rhetorical talent. And I don't know if he's saying like oratory, or if he's saying or rhetorical talent. It's either that. Great use of homophone. Obviously, it's a great battle rapper. But what's so fascinating is that Joey's perfectly playing it by introducing Lux, who apparently, according to other people who know battle rap better than I do, I think I saw this on Justin's video, Justin Hunt, the company man. It's all happening. Punch yourself in the face. Okay, story number two. I think that's all the punchlines I know from Justin. Everyone's wanted this battle between Lux and Daylight, but it hasn't happened for some reason. So by throwing Lux in there, he's essentially neutralizing Daylight. Like, you know when you're watching, like, a superhero movie, and there's, like, the one female character, and then you see the group of bad guys, and there's the one female character, and you know at the end the female characters are going to fight against each other? Like, that's how it works. Or if there's, like, some kind of big Hulk character, some oversized giant, that's going to fight the oversized giant on the other team. Or if there's a ninja, it's going to fight the other ninja. Was there a good ninja in G.I. Joe? I seem to remember Storm Shadow. Anyways, doesn't matter. What does matter is that, like, this is the way that this kind of conflict works. And so by doing this, it kind of takes Daylight out of the general mainstream rap beef and puts him into this battle rap situation with Lux. He's like removing him and allowing this beef to go back to being a public beef as opposed to battle rapping with a battle rapper. A brilliant strategic move. So instead, I just want to focus on two of my favorite songs from the entire thing that are very linked. You know, both of them are provocatively using beats from the other coast. Goldeneye by Vaughn and Crash Dummy by Joey Badass. Welcome to round 3, where once again I'm going to declare a winner, but I think I already did. It's got to be Joey. And Joey Badass has got to win because, first of all, I prefer Vaughn as a rapper. if they both dropped albums tomorrow, I would listen to Vaughn first. I think he's got a more interesting voice, more interesting style. I like him more as a rapper. But in this beef, you got to give it to Joey, because he is, to quote Mobb Deep, all alone in these streets, cousin. Like, what is going on? He is alone on the floor. You know, the '69 Lakers. That's a cute thing I can reference just to try to piss off Lakers fans, because I'm mad the Celtics got beaten by the Knicks. But actually, probably a better reference point would be LeBron James in 2007. So if you don't remember the 2007 finals, they got whooped. The San Antonio Spurs draxed them sklounced. It was the worst. I mean, they got swept in 4 games by San Antonio. The Cavaliers couldn't do anything. The only player they had who was really capable of doing anything was LeBron James. And that's kind of how this all feels. This feels like it's Joey and some scrubs. And Cookie Monster. Never go after Curtis. So it really is 20v1. But what Joey's able to do is somehow, it feels like he's giving more hits than he's getting. And I don't know how he's doing that. And it's funny, because in the last video where I gave round 2 to Vaughn, everyone accused me of being a West Coast dick licker, saying, "Oh, you're biased." No, I'm not biased. Like, I'm really not. You know, I'm an East Coast guy, right? I'm from Boston. Like, most of my favorite rappers are all from the East Coast. You know, I'm from the 80s and 90s, so I'm very East Coast biased. But at the same time, like, I just call them like I see them. Anyways, that's maybe part of this discourse. We could do that. But let's go to GoldenEye. All right? So I'm tempted to say this is just Vaughn dunking on Joey Badass the whole time. But it's really him dunking on the rest of the team. It's really him dunking on New York City. I love the idea of bringing in the casting couch. I like the idea of taking him being an actor and using it as some kind of like sexual humiliation. Very funny. I love his energy and his flow, and really, really relying on the Diddy accusations. I'm going to talk about those in a second. Actually, I'll talk about them right now. I think they work and they don't work at the same time. I think they don't work because I don't think anyone really thinks that Joey Badass is in freak-offs with the baby oil and all the other stuff that's going on. But they do work because it helps to undermine New York as a place that makes rap. It helps to hurt New York, that one of the architects of the New York rap scene of the 90s and 2000s is in such disgrace. But he just goes on. He just goes on. He takes out all pro era. You got no hits, and pro era don't exist. You got a label full of artists every blog post skip. Just awesome, punchline after punchline. He's hilarious. And then we get this second verse where it's just absolutely killer. Now let's remember, okay? He's doing an entire song based on a 50 Cent beat, right? Using a 50 Cent beat. And also using 50 Cent's cadence and style of kind of rapping and talking in sort of a whisper kind of cool guy way. Like he's completely laughing at the East Coast. Took a fake beef because Puffy called you Sloppy Joe. Ah, yeah. F it, I'll be the Kendrick copy. That's better than Bukkake. When you heard that, I have laughed out loud twice during this beef. Okay? I have had A minor moments twice. I tell the story all the time, but I was carrying my 2-year-old when I heard A minor. She was 1 back then, and I was going up the stairs. The first time I heard it, I had to hold on to her with an extra arm because I was laughing so hard because it was such a hard bar, such a precision hit, such a. I heard it. The second I heard it, I realized for like the rest of his life, Drake would just be like, "Get back in there," like that's what I heard. And this, oof. Diddy's sidekick got something to say, a freak off for a week, calling me gay. But this is the real problem. It's the chorus. This is the real problem that Joey Badass and the East Coast has to deal with. Couldn't get a verse from the HOV, and now you at Diddy's house and you putting your back down. I think this is the real issue. If you haven't watched Read My Soul's videos, I'm doing a lot of shout-outs here to other channels because there's so much great stuff happening. And frankly, I'm too busy to cover all this stuff. So there's all these great commenters and reactors. There's so much happening right now. It's awesome. But Read My Soul has done an interesting video about the idea of TD East. and about why maybe it should exist. And I want to kind of like play with some of the ideas he was putting forth, maybe build on them, add some more, to basically being like, what is the problem? Now, Reed is fascinating because he grew up in New York but doesn't live there anymore, so he really knows the scene, he knows where it's from, and he talks a lot about the gentrification of New York, that New York has kind of been losing its soul because of tech bros and venture ghouls, right? Which makes sense, right? A lot of places have lost them. But what I really want to focus on is just this lack of an old guard, this lack of mentorship. Like, where are the mentors? Okay, I'm going to say something, and you're going to laugh, okay? Okay. In the song, Goldeneye, Vaughn takes shots at 3 rappers. They are all going to release a response next week. 50 Cent, JayZ, and Diddy. Now, why are you laughing? Because you know that's not going to happen. 50 Cent, even though they're imitating his style, they're making fun of his artist, or at least one of his actors in one of his shows, imitating his flow, all of that, to try to take out the East Coast, try to take out New York, and he's not going to do anything. He's going to sit there counting vitamin water checks. All right? He doesn't care. He's going to go back to the gym. He doesn't care. He's not mentoring. He's not looking over this whole situation and trying to protect his city. He doesn't care. And we know why Diddy's not going to do anything, because he's in jail. What does LA have? Well, in this song, we have Kendrick authorized the hit. We have a godfather. We have a center. We have somebody who is mentoring the West Coast, who's not just putting it on his back, but is also like, helping out when they jump off his back and say, okay, I'll help you out, Lefty Gunplay. Okay, I'll help you out, everybody. I'll make this album. I'll spread the love. I'll try to figure out how to make this all work over here. And you get the sense that it goes all the way back to Dre. Dre mentors Kendrick. Kendrick mentors everybody else. It carries on and on and on and on. But we don't have that on the East Coast. You might go, oh, well, Biggie's dead. Yeah, well, so is Tupac. Well, Puff's in jail. Yeah, well, so is Suge. Okay, Pop Smoke is dead. That's true. There's a huge thing lacking there. And I don't know. Ice Spice and Tekashi 6ix9ine are seen as trash. I actually think Ice Spice has the capacity for greatness. But who else is left from the 90s? Like, the greatest era in hip-hop history is still probably New York City in the 90s. We got Nas, okay? He's still relevant. He's still making great art. But what's his label doing? Making albums with Premier? Ghostface Killah, producing Ghostface Killah? Mobb Deep? Raekwon? De La Soul? Big L? I mean, I had to say rest in peace for 3 of those artists. Okay, that's a lot of rest in pieces. None of those guys are young guys. None of those guys are up and coming. None of those guys need like the help of New York and say, this is the future of New York. This is the past of New York. 50 Cent's label, you got Young Buck on there, and he's almost as old as I am. He's like 44 years old. And Wu-Tang Clan may be for the children, but it's not for the city, is it? I don't know. Who do they put on? Who do they put on that's not in the Wu-Tang family? It seems like once they make it, they leave. They don't care. They do need TD East. That's what's necessary. The detox line from Joey Badass later, where he says, still waiting, just like on Detox. Like, I feel like that might actually get people mad because there's some sense of protection. I don't hear anybody trying to protect Diddy, for a good reason, but I don't hear him trying to protect 50 or protect JayZ, because that's who it really falls on. That's who it falls on. That's what New York needs. Can't leave the game alone. Can't leave rap alone. The game needs me. Remember when you said that? We need JayZ. New York City needs JayZ. The whole thing is around a JayZ flip. Too much West Coast dick licking, which he said back in Reasonable Doubt, which came out when I was in high school. And the whole sense of the feelings and the buildings being crushed by Snoop. We're going back to money, cash, hoes, money, cash, hoes. What? Like, when we call it Joey versus the West, it's because New York has failed. It's because the 1969 Lakers didn't have enough good players. The 2007 Cavaliers didn't have enough good players. Okay, I know Wilt Chamberlain. Was on the 1969 Lakers, and they were a good team. Ironically, the award that Jerry West won would later be named the Bill Russell Award. So he won the award named after the guy who beat him in the finals. It's petty. It's a petty, sad world being a Boston sports fan. But that's what you need. We need JayZ or someone like JayZ, because right now we got Joey Badass trying to do what JayZ should be doing. JayZ needs to come out of retirement. JayZ needs to come out and get back at Nas. JayZ needs to come back out and show that he cares more than just organizing the Super Bowl for Apple, and more than betting on sports and controlling sports betting operations. He needs to prove that maybe, okay, he was a businessman, and then he was a businessman, but he was also, and this is true, you can look it up, the greatest rapper of all time. That's who he is. So what the hell's he doing? What's going on? Why has it got to be Joey versus the West? You trying to tell me Jay jumps on this and it doesn't change? You want to get Kendrick out here? You want to make this real? You want to make this something that even Eric the Young God wouldn't make fun of in his bathroom? And you've got to watch Eric the Young God's videos on this. But I will say, the biggest failure in the whole beef, the worst line in the whole beef, comes from Vaughn. My favorite rapper in the beef is Vaughn, and he has the worst line. I was signed for 5 years and got blocked by COVID. We were all blocked by COVID. Who wasn't blocked by COVID? You can't use COVID as an excuse. All right? It's like, that is just the most like, yeah. I mean, I'm a language professor, and language programs got hit especially hard by COVID because, you can't travel and you can't have classes in person where you have a lot of like conversation practice that you really need. But even I basically never used that excuse for why the class numbers were down, because no one wants to hear, oh, but COVID. Okay, so this leads up to the next song, Crash Dummy. Maybe my favorite. I think when history is written, I think they will say this was the song that ended it. This was the song that put the not the nail in the coffin, because this has been back and forth. This was the final round, or we'll see. Probably while I'm recording this, Vaughn probably just released a new song. Who knows? They probably released 3 more songs in the time that I started this first sentence. But who knows? I think when we look back, this will be the end. I think this is where Joey wins, partly because he's doing satire so well. So Ho era, Vaughn showed how to do satire. Satire is where you make fun of something by imitating it and exaggerating it. So this song is an exaggeration and a flip on the song Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, showing love for the history of battle rapping while intentionally invoking Tupac to build up the East Coast. Now, of course, Tupac was born in New York, and he almost died in New York. Did you know that Tupac was shot right next to the M&M store? It's true. The studio where Tupac was shot is in the building next to the M&M store. So next time you go to Times Square, you can impress somebody by having known that. The satire is perfect because it really does feel like Hit 'Em Up. He really does know how to do the flow. He knows how to sound like a West Coast rapper. He's a subtle guy. He really is. Joey Badass, like, his voice is kind of anonymous. His rhymes can feel kind of anonymous, that if you don't step back and really appreciate his craft, you might lose sight of how unbelievably talented he is, which he shows off here. I do want to take one little quick rap history note here to talk about this flip, because it's Tupac himself was working with a remix of a Biggie song. So Tupac himself was trying to provoke Biggie by taking the song Get Money and flipping it. So it's not even done there, though, because Biggie's success was that he learned and he figured out, along with his collaborator Puff, okay, give him credit where credit's due, just don't go over to his house, he figured out how to use a lot of the West Coast pop rap sensibilities, the kind of smoothness, the singing, the style, and turn that into East Coast rap. Like, East Coast rap became more West Coast with Biggie. So the song that Tupac was parodying was already kind of an imitation of a West Coast song, which makes the song Crash Dummy by Joey Badass. Let's see if I can do this. Give me a shot, everybody. Just give me 1 second to do this. An East Coast satire of a West Coast satire of an East Coast imitation of a West Coast style, which is just to prove, that if you turn the W on its side, it's an E, okay? Or 3. Which one's this? An E, right? It's just rap, It's just different forms of rap. They're all connected. A little quick note too. Also, hey, Eric B. and Rakim are the ones who really should be getting the credit because it's paid in full. Hey, whatever happened to peace? Like it should be going back to that, because that's where the beat was first sampled. The beat itself coming from Dennis Edwards, and the song Don't Look Any Further. So that's the whole history of that song. But I love it. I love the West Coast flow. I love the Tupac quotes, you believe in God, believe in TD East. The thing is, there's ways to invoke Tupac, and there's ways not to. Doing AI, whatever it was that Drake did, is just ways of not doing it. This, I think, is perfect because it's the kind of insulting, enraging behavior that I think Tupac himself would have reacted to and tried to do himself. And he goes on. Right. He goes on, and he's able to undo the entire Diddy line. That's what's amazing. He was able to like judo his way out of judo is where you use defense as offense, right? So someone comes at you, and you just kind of move out of the way, and they fall down. He was able to judo the whole thing because he said, "Yeah, I was at Diddy's parties, but also so was Top." So this person who represents West Coast excellence, okay? Top, like the person who runs TDE, the person who has that mentorship, the person who shows the kind of excellence that East Coast doesn't have. The reason that the East Coast is losing the war, even while having the best soldier, is because West Coast has TDE and its affiliates. I mean, let's just be it. Top is the reason that they're winning. Fundamentally, he's the one with the real vision. Not really even Kendrick. It's Top, and he was at the Diddy parties. So that whole line of reasoning is done. Because if being at a Diddy party is enough grounds to dismiss you, then you have to say the person who writes my checks is dismissed. The person who's done as much, if not the most, as anybody at keeping West Coast rap alive and happy is just as guilty as I am. Beautiful judo move. Kind of a homophone on here too. The way I see the shit from afar, the way I red dot. It's not homophobia, homophone. That's where things sound the same. Red dot. Like he read him like a book. He read Kendrick Lamar, and red dot like a dot on the head from a distance. Just beautiful. And then the way that he's quoting Kendrick, just trying to bait him out, just trying to pull him out. Pop out and show how many mows are going to take to drop him. Just constantly reminding. Just poking and poking and poking and poking. And doing a song that hits. Anywho, I ask myself, what would Kenny do any day of the week? At least 10 of you thought you got dirt on me because I buried you. I don't do this every video. This is going to get a spin. Because you need this in battle rap. You need this in rap battles. Okay? Whatever the hell you want to call it, you need this in hip-hop. This line is so fucking evocative. I can picture Joey Badass burying Ray Vaughn. I can picture, So Hard to Say Goodbye. The video where the Boyz II Men video, are they actually at a funeral? So Hard to Say Goodbye. I swear they are. And as I see Boyz II Men singing It's So Hard to Say Goodbye, they're standing there, and I see the piles of dirt being put on, okay? And then I see the body. I see Ray Vaughn in there. He opens up his eyes and just like, hey, you got dirt on you. Like, that's what I picture. That's perfect. It's a perfect line. I love how he talks about Pandora's box, because that's what he's trying to do. Joey Badass is trying to stir shit up. He's trying to get things going, and he's succeeding, at least in getting the West Coast going. I don't throw subs. I throw torpedoes at Heat Seek. Just great. All these questions. Why do East Coast guys die out there? Again, Tupac almost died on the East Coast. So it's a broader problem of gun violence in America, but that doesn't matter. But the main reason that this song wins is because of the hook. Because he basically got the Not Like Us of the beef. This is the song that's the catchiest. I mean, Ho Era was pretty close. Shut up. That's good. The Trick Daddy pull, all that. But this right here, Scared Money, don't make no money, could never go break, trying to take your money. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. You a crash out, you a crash dummy. It's just perfect. It's a perfect catch. It feels like a West Coast bop that is designed to destroy the West Coast. So there he is, Joey Badass, the triple-double, no assist. He's all there, all by himself. And the East Coast is still going to lose. I don't want to say that, because I'm an East Coast guy. Okay? I don't want to say that. But of course, who wins? Who really wins? Kendrick Lamar wins. Because this is the battle he was fighting for hip-hop, and it's coming through. The soul of hip-hop is restored. 11 years after Control Verse, we're finally basically there. I've been thinking about ways. So if you don't know, I actually I uploaded this video. This is what I get. I made fun of Toure because sometimes he mutes his mic when he's talking. And I recorded a video and released it, and half of it was muted. So you didn't hear me say this before. If you watched the original video, by the way, tell me in the comments. Just say Pepperidge Farm remembers, okay? Tell me in the comments that you saw the first video. I got quiet. I have to apologize to Toure. I swear to God, I get around other Boston people, and I just get to be such a jerk, you know? Anyways, what I said at the end of that video that no one could hear is I think the next thing to do is friendship. So in the game Mortal Kombat, I used to be really good at Mortal Kombat 3. I used to go to Tommy's Pizza in Harvard Square, put down 50 cents, and no one could get me off the machine. I wouldn't even beat you with my main, which was Jax. I would do random, up and start, and I would beat you with anybody. I'm Shansung. I got all the metamorphoses, okay? I could beat anybody. I could just spend the whole time there until I was done. Oh, you're going to do the Cyrax thing? Oh, you're going to do the Cyrax thing? Ho, it doesn't matter. I got counters for all your bullshit, okay? That's what I was like. That's what I was about. That's why I never made the honor roll in high school. I actually got my actual high school transcript up there. Mostly C's. But I could win. And one of the things that they introduced into Mortal Kombat, of course, was fatalities, where you kill someone in a fantastic way, like pulling out their skeleton and all that stuff. But they also introduced friendships. And the thing about friendships is you just do something nice. You know, you make like little balloon animals or whatever, or you hug them, whatever it is. It's something nice. But it was fascinating because that was actually the best way to get your ass kicked in real life, is by performing a friendship. Because it's one thing to just be like, I'm going to kill you and I kill you and I kill you. But if you actually show kindness, that can be more aggravating. I'm happy though. I'm happy that I had to re-record this video because I didn't know about Word is Born. I want to give one more shout out to another great YouTuber, Rob Markman, who did a video about this. So there's one more song that Daylight released, and it's called Word is Born, and it's all about his love of capital Steez. And this is kind of that thing I was talking about, except it's not trying to be provocative. It's just friendship. It's Daylight, who's been the most aggressive, I would say, from the West Coast, saying his love for the East Coast, making sure, coming back again, recentering us, the same way that Absol did in the Red Bull Cypher, centering us and making sure this is rap. This is rap. This is rap. This is not... I don't know Joey Badass's real name. This is not, I don't know Daylight's real name. So this is not those people's real names against each other. This is performance. This is competition. This is the Celtics versus the Lakers. Oh, I guess the Celtics and Lakers did actually used to hate each other. Man, they gave Jerry West such a bad rap in that TV show. Did you watch Winning Time on HBO? Goddamn. Sure makes you kind of like the Lakers for a second. I will say that I liked that they ended, was it the 86 series or the 84? Whatever it was, they ended with the Celtics victory, and they didn't get to the Celtics losing in 87. So as far as I can tell, all the HBO executives are Celtics fans, because they're like, yeah, this is the end of the story. The end of the story is the Lakers don't go on to basically usually beat the Celtics from here on out. So yeah, definitely check out that video about Word is Born. Rob Markman is like, it's funny because he scared the hell out of me the first time I did Culture United, because I thought like he was like just sitting there like kind of hating me. But it's actually just he has like kind of a very cool demeanor, and he's in real life he's just a very, very warm guy, and that video shows that warmth and kind of shows his sort of how much he's appreciating this act of kindness and friendship. As a final word, one person donated $10 to my live premiere on the now erased video with my beautiful backyard. The name was Instant Messenger Sama. Thank you for 10 euros. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this new version. All right. Well, until next time, I'm just going to look up. I'm going to look up on YouTube right now and see if there's any new songs that have come out. Vaughn. Are you kidding me? I'm looking here. Okay, I got Alchemist's got a new song. I got R.M. Brown, Toilet, and I got Vaughn. That's what I got right here. So I guess I gotta listen to that now. All right, until next time, there's the camera.